One of the very first things they teach you in medical school is that inspection comes before palpation. So that means that if a patient comes to me with a swollen jaw, before I even touch them, I have to first of all inspect. And so what that involves is looking at that swelling, seeing if there's a change in color, seeing if it's symmetric, seeing if the patient is in any obvious distress, right? I have to inspect before I touch the swelling to see, how it feels like. The very same thing applies to data analysis. Before you touch the data to analyze it and publish from it, you have to first of all inspect the data. So we're inspecting the data to see whether there are missing values, whether the distribution is, for example, skewed to one direction. So inspection must come before data analysis. How do you inspect data? Well, you can create figures. You create visualization from each variable. The visualization helps you to see, for example, the distribution. If it's a continuous variable, for example, you might see that, this variable has a tail that goes that way, which suggests that it's skewed. If it's a categorical variable, you could create, for example, bar plots for each of the categories, and that tells you, I see that this distribution is highest among this group and lowest among that group. Visualization also allows you to look at missing values. Another way to inspect data is to create cross tabulations. So if it's categorical variable, you tabulate the variable to see the percentage and the numbers for each category. And if it's a continuous variable, you could calculate the mean and standard deviation to see what the spread of the data is like. So the bottom line is inspection is very important because it helps you to see whether the assumptions you have about the data are correct or whether they're wrong. The beautiful thing about the Chisquares platform is that the entire processes of inspecting the data are done for you automatically. So with just a single click, you can download a report, the analysis report that contains the tabulations and the visualizations for each variable. For continuous variables, apparently, it's a mean and standard deviation that are calculated and visualized. And so with that kind of report, you can look at each variable one after the other, and you can see the spread of the data. You can look at the number of missing values, and you can see every other thing about the data that you need to examine before you go ahead and do your analysis. That way, you can be sure that your analysis are being done correctly and that the data are fit for use and fit for purpose.